Well, it's kind of late, but hey, it is what it is, man. It's your boy Type R87, aka Carlos Fernandez, gamer by choice, not by trend. And you're checking out my little quick live video stream. Um, let's just get into this, man. Let's just put it out there. It never ceases to amaze me, fanboy logic. It never does. Especially now with all this hoo-ha about Microsoft's new incentive, the Game Pass. Practically, man, this is my thoughts on it. Not my opinions, just my thoughts. It's good, but at the same time, like it's bad because it really shows you exactly where the dedication is at for Microsoft in terms of marketing and strategy. It just shows you exactly where their logic is heading to and where it's going to lead to. And once again, it's going to lead to just a paid game service slash stream service, just like what you will find on PSN now. And quite frankly, it's going to suck because, yes, you're going to have games that are not going to be on the service for too long, probably for like a limited amount of time. So, for those who actually would, like to have games have a prolonged period, it's gonna suck because you won't get that opportunity. Most of those games are gonna be on a time limited basis, and they're not gonna be there for long. So yes, a discounted price for $10, even on exclusives. I really don't understand what's the logic behind Microsoft doing this right now so drastically. But you know, it is what it is. It's something that's bound to happen. Something that in the long run was going to be something that Phil Spencer himself was going to push for. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Microsoft Xbox One X or whatever system that they come out next with is going to be relatable to a Steam box. Is going to be relatable to a Steam game service like how you would have on a PC. The only difference between the Steam service and the Microsoft Pass, I mean, it's just the pricing. That's about it. But in terms of sales and how things are done, Steam still takes the cake for doing it the best way, regardless of the fact. Um, I just find it very disappointing that Microsoft is going through this route instead of just putting up a fight and doing it right for all gamers. And what else, man? Like you can't help but not to think about the future of Microsoft. You cannot help but to think like what are they gonna do next? Where are they heading to? And quite simple, man. They head into that pay for service logic. Pay for service on everything. Pay for service to take all your earn or hard earned money and just run along with it. And I find that very disturbing. I find that very appalling to all gamers alike, myself included, and everybody else around the planet that actually games for a living and that actually loves to play games in general. But what can you do? These fanboys, as I always we pointed out, these fanboys always end up overhyping and being very much overzealous over simple things as games. If you do not support the cause, why are you even pushing the narrative? Especially propaganda, usually propaganda as the narrative for that movement. when in reality it's not doing nothing but harm to the gaming community. Yes, I'm speaking out to your boy MGB Gaming, your boy Crap Gamer, and your boy slash quote unquote the tech guy Dealer Gaming. These three characters, I do not understand the logic behind their thoughts. I do not understand the logic behind anything that they come up when they actually go out on YouTube and spew out nothing but a bunch of lies, especially to the hardcore fan base of Xbox. That's what I find very appalling. You guys are just using the whole scenario to your advantage in order to gain views. And we already know you buy most of your views, bros. We already know that. Ain't no debating in that. Ain't no debating that. But you know what? I'm just a pebble in this big pond trying to wiggle my way around it. And I just had enough, man. Enough with the fanboy logic. Let's just move on from the fanboy logic and let's get to the real task at hand. Speaking out your mind and telling Microsoft, listen, you guys are doing horrible. You guys are just not trying hard enough to push the narrative of gaming. You're actually giving up by going to the pay for game services. It's really appalling, man. And you know what? The three that I mentioned, you guys are the main problem behind this whole console war fiasco. You three are the main reasons why we have this division of people just talking smack to each other online, through social media, through any social network, just talking crap about devices that don't even do much but just serve the purpose of entertainment. That's all it's based on. It's not really based on anything else. Gaming is about entertaining your mind, you know, finding a reason to feel relaxed and to take some stress away, man. That's what gaming is all about. It's not about how better the system is than the next person's, because in reality, the next person might be having much as fun as you playing one game from a different company than you are with your own. And I don't find that logic in that. I don't really understand the logic behind all of that. It just really, it really sucks just to see the route that Microsoft has taken just to make ends meet with their proprietary, you know, uh, it just got me really mad, man. I'm really disappointed at listening to all these just very appalled people. I thought Microsoft would actually do something to help out their image, but in reality, they're just going the same route that me, Ryan, and every other gamer has put out there, trying to put the best effort for you guys to actually push yourselves to say to Microsoft and to these big gaming companies, listen, it's not enough. You're not catering to what we want. You're not catering to the cause. You're just doing it just to gain the upper hand by taking profitable money off the masses. That's it. You're not doing it for the cause of gaming. You're just doing it just to make ends meet, and it's sickening. And to top it all off, you got guys like the ones that I mentioned once before, MGB, Dealer, and Crap Gamer, and I'm also include as well your boy Next Gen and Colt Eastwood. All these buffoons are the reasons why this whole console fanboy logic is making it worse. It's not helping it. It's just turning it into a one big mash of just ugh. Like, what is this? Why do you have to stoop so low to defend a company and still lose in the end. Because practically that's what we're going through, a loss of innovation, a loss of just bright, idea minded individuals that are going to be cast out pretty soon because more than likely all these third party retailers are going to pull out from Microsoft and really not give a fuck about them and just move on and find other means to make games. But I would have liked to see something good for Microsoft, man. At least a first party exclusive that would actually bounce them back into the mix. But they're not doing that. And yes, you can throw Sea of Thieves at as much as you want, but it's still it is what it is. You fanboys are not gonna buy Sea of Thieves. You fanboys are not even gonna push to do anything for the cause. You fanboys are just gonna stay to your fanboy logic and just make everything more toxic than what it already ha- has been. And quite frankly, enough is enough. This year, I made it a point to be a year of no remorse for fanboy logic. Because I am getting tired of the fanboy logic. I am getting tired of people like Crap Gamer, Dealer Gaming, MGB, Next Gen, and any other Xbot that actually thinks that they're actually capable of debating, but only using fanboy based opinions in order to get the point across. That doesn't work anymore. Especially now with what's going on with the whole Microsoft Game Pass situation. It just proves to everybody else that this situation has gotten worse and it's not going to change. It's going to be something that's going to affect or impact the way we see Microsoft as a gaming company, or better yet, the gaming division of Microsoft is going to be looked and frowned upon by actual gamers, not the fanboys. The fanboys are always going to back up everything that the corporate minded salesman pitches at them. They're always going to go for that logic. And quite frankly, dudes, find something more constructive to do. I'm not even going to curse. Just find something more constructive to do. Do your homework. Search up these companies. See what they are about. Search up all their practices, and you're going to see exactly why me, Ryan, King Thrash, ACO, Protorock, everybody that has the most common sense to point out these things are actually fighting for something and trying to make a point that this fanboy logic is not going to help the situation any further than what it is. It is not. End of the day, the PC community is actually going to gain the upper hand in this whole situation because the past game is also going to be something that most PC gamers are going to look forward to because those games are actually going to be playable on the PC and for a cheaper price. Thank you, fanboys, for making this the most idiotic, the most, how can I say it, the most unthoughtful way of using knowledge to corrupt the way we see things as a gaming community. Thank you very much. You guys are the reasons why I'm going to keep on doing what I do to put my point across and to also enlighten those that want to be enlightened and not just stick to the it's better because it's greener. No, there's always something beyond the white picket fence. And you have to look beyond that horizon and you have to actually see what the goal is. Don't just stick for less, go for more. Go for more because when you find out what you are worth, you can make a big impact in this world. You can make a big impact on anything, and that includes in gaming as well. We as gamers, we can voice our opinions. We can use our logic, our technical knowledge of gaming, and tell these companies what we feel, how we feel about it, and give an input to them and let them know, like, listen, it's not happening. It's not gonna happen, and we're not gonna tolerate it. Like I've said, man, I always keep it 100, and I always say what I have to say, and I always use my quote: "Gamer by choice, not by trend," and I go by it because that's what I do. I don't go by trend. I go by my games. I go by what I like, and I like everything. I don't just stick to one company. I don't just use the fanboy logic to defend none of these companies at all. They all are equally and in parts the same way from one another. The only thing that they do is they just spin it in a different way. But yeah, Microsoft has messed up very royally, in my opinion, with this Game Pass. I thought that they were actually going to do something good, rather just they just went the easy route. The Xbox One X will officially become a Steam box, and any other future Microsoft based console is going to be a Steam box, practically. It's no longer going to be a console, it's going to be a hybrid slash PC console. All this narrative about 4K textures, 4K resolutions, the performance of a mid range PC, look what it has gotten us to. It has gotten to the point where you guys overhype this console so much. You guys overhype this console so badly that it just turns everything into shambles. Seriously, it has turned Microsoft into a shambles company. Very hollow. Doesn't even have a fucking backbone anymore, and I'm very mad at that, man. And if Phil Spencer's listening to this, man, I hope that you find it in your logic to actually do the right thing for the gaming community. Find it in yourself to say, you know what? We need to change our practices. We need to cater to the gaming community, especially the console gaming community, because come on, man. Throughout the years, you guys been supported by console gamers. Now is when you really want to change everything because of certain situations. It's understandable. You have to make changes, but those changes have to be done with right, precise decisions, not just drastic measures just to gain a profit. And I hope you're listening, Phil Spencer. Change the narrative, man. Stop it with this whole corporate attachment because it's not really helping the Microsoft gaming division. It really isn't doing much for it. And to Crap Gamer, Dealer Gaming, and all these fanboys or quote unquote wannabe gamers, yo, step your game up, man. Step it up. Because you guys are just the reasons why this whole console war has been all for nothing at a loss for something bigger. I thought we were going forward, but we were actually retracting backwards. We're actually going backwards. We're not going anywhere forward as far as I'm concerned with Microsoft. It's just going backwards. You guys touted about backwards compatibility as a big thing. Yeah, I like to play my old games, but that's why I still owe the old consoles because every time that I want to play the old consoles, I just turn it right on and get to playing. I don't have to pay extra for those games because I already own them. But you guys want to paint it like it's cupcakes with frosted flakes on top of the icing, and it's really not that sweet, man. It isn't. You guys are practically playing the same games that you can practically play on your old consoles on the newer console. Still find that very, I don't know, like rhetorical. It's a very rhetorical pattern of thought that these guys have. Just to prove a point that their console is better than everybody else. Newsflash, people. All consoles have their weaknesses, and all consoles have their advantages over the other. That's just how the environment works in gaming. PC has its advantages and disadvantages. So has consoles as well. The only limitations are what the hardware in itself does. That's where the limitations are at. And quite frankly, the 1X has its limitations. It's been proven from time and time again. There's no other way around it. And as many patches as these guys would like to put out on the X, it's always going to be a contributing factor to what the hardware does. If the hardware does not perform to par with the optimized settings of the games, you're always going to have performance issues. You're always going to have lag. You're always going to have upscale and downscale resolutions. You're always going to have some form of lackless performance from the hardware. And yes, you want to point out to me these little things and tell me that I'm wrong for it, but in reality, it's all on paper. It's all being broadcast on YouTube all over. I mean, I just finished watching Gamer Nexus, which is a PC based show, and they actually pitted the, I think it was like a $500 PC against the 1X, and the $500 PC actually performed to par. To par. This is a mid, not even like a low end $500 PC to the X, and it performed to par, and if not a little bit better in certain aspects. It wasn't by a large margin, but it did outperform it, and it had potential to overperform it. But the guys at Gamer Nexus, and I like to give them a big shout out, they did their thing, man. They showed exactly where the proof is at. Yes, the One X is a very profitable console, but it still doesn't perform the way it should. You guys want to tout about the 4K 60 like if it's the biggest thing since butter pound cake, and it really isn't. It's not. It's not even nowhere as tasteful as butter pound cake. So we just need to stop this whole fanboy logic and just move on from it and make Microsoft do what they need to do in order for Microsoft to rise and give us great games, give us great exclusives, give us great innovative ideas how they were back when they had the 360, man. When they had actually games for the 360. Not this whole Game Pass fiasco just to gain some profit because we already know the 1X is not selling at an alarming global rate. It's not selling well globally. It's doing horrible. If you're only doing good in Europe, well, mostly London, and you're doing good in the United States, but the rest of the world you're still are behind, then you're practically failing. You're practically failing, man. You're practically failing to provide to the consumers, and you're practically failing to push out your product. You're practically failing in all terms of making your point that you're a great innovative company, that you're pushing the narrative for games. See, but this is why I like Sony. Because Sony takes those risks and chances, and they actually do something about it. They actually will go and listen to the gamer's opinion. Not all the times. I'm not saying that they do every single time, because there have been cases where Sony itself has messed up and not done the right thing for the gamers. But I will say this, where Sony has lacked, it has shown that it can improve and that it can move more forward and ahead and push that narrative. And that's the kind of thinking that I want to see from Microsoft's gaming division. That drive, that motivation, that incentive to say, you know what, even though Sony's doing better than us, but we can still put out decent amount of content that can rival Sony. But they're not doing that. They're showing us Game Pass. And yes, these Xbox fanboys will point out, oh, PSN Now is a stream to pay service as well, and it's not really reliable. For one, I didn't like PSN Now. Never did, never will. Used it for a little while, and then it's like, nah, I'm not gonna use it. I just kept on gaming on my old games on my old PS3. I didn't need a PSN Now. I really didn't need it. But how can we say this, man? This fanboy logic is just too out of hand. Too out of hand. Anyways, man, I'm gonna cut this stream short. Head on out, and just remember, my peoples, click, like, subscribe, and support the movement, man. Support the gaming movement, and just enjoy gaming in general, man. Hey, it's your boy Type R87, aka Carlos Fernandez, gamer by choice, not by trend. And listen to my little live stream. More to come. Have a good night. Deuces.